Happy Thursday night, listeners. Welcome to the podcast where we talk life, love, and literature. I'm Sierra London, along with my co-host, author Elle Loren. We are Women on Words. Tonight, we're so excited to have author and screenwriter Lolah Lace with us. Lolah, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Lisa, you there?
Welcome. I am here. Welcome, Lolah. It's good to hear your voice.
Oh, welcome for you guys too. I mean, this is my first time being on your podcast, so I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's so nice with everything that's happening, that has happened this year in 2020, that we still find ways to connect with each other and to connect with our audience. I think that's the wonderful thing about having like this new vehicle, to reach our readers.
That's so true, because it's really hard seeing other authors and getting together with readers during the pandemic. So any way we can do it is a good way to do it. And everybody has found alternative ways like virtual chats or podcasts. So I really appreciate the people who put the effort into doing things like this to help get exposure for romance writers.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting us too. So Lolah, tell our listeners who you are and what do you write and how long have you been writing? I know that's a lot.
Well, I'm Lolah Lace, and I'm a self-published romance writer. I write interracial romance, and I've been self-published since 2012, but I wrote my first book in third grade, so I've been writing forever. But I became self-published in 2012. I write in all subgenres of romance, interracial romance, exactly. And I'm also a screenwriter, so I write screenplays, web series, and teleplays.
Wow. So impressive. Awesome. It really is. Lisa?
Yeah. Now, Lolah, you said that you kicked it off saying about your web series, and your latest book is a spinoff. Well, it's actually your web series put into a novel, which to me is amazing, because usually you write the book first and then you turn it into either a web series or a movie. How did you come up with that, and how is that doing? And tell us all about that project.
Well, my latest, I have a movie on Amazon Prime, and it's called Single and Ready. What I did was I took the screenplay and I adapted it into a novel. Now, normally, I've done this before, so it wasn't a thing really, because some of my books were screenplays first, and it's just that the readers aren't aware of that, because you never get to read a screenplay if it isn't turned into a movie. So I started writing screenplays years ago, and it didn't really go anywhere, so then I started to write novels. And then recently, I think back in last year, I wrote Single and Ready. It was about online dating, and it was made into a movie from the screenplay. And then because the readers wanted to know what happened, I decided to take the screenplay and adapt it into a book.
So
very interesting.
I'm sorry, I was trying to do a follow-up question on that one, Sierra. I didn't mean to overstep. But with the Single and Ready, I was introduced to it online. Now that it is a book, will you have a sequel to that?
Yes, I will have a sequel. Currently, it's on pre-order right now, and it should be out. I think the release date is August 28th.
Okay.
So it's coming up very soon.
Great. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically telling everybody what happened from the actual movie. It's the continuation.
Okay, awesome. Because I know, so I had a chance to take a look at Single and Ready. Is it with LaTanya and Tamika? Is that her best friend?
Yes.
Yes.
LaTanya, Lockhart, and Tamika, yes.
Yes, and Tamika. So, okay, first of all, the ladies are hilarious. And I have to ask you, like, what was your inspiration for tackling single womanhood and online dating?
I've actually tried it before in the past, and so that was something I took notes because you have dates and they are really terrible. And you kind of keep notes because you want people to know that this actually happens in real life. This is not made up. And the dates that LaTanya went on, they were actual dates that I went on. And some of it, of course, is somewhat exaggerated and some is played down a little bit. But, yeah, these are things that happen on online dates because if you've seen the show Catfish, people do misrepresent themselves. And you never think that because if you're you and you're okay with you, you assume everyone else is okay with themselves too. But that is not the case. And I just thought it would be hilarious to actually put that down and see what comes of it.
Okay. I was going to ask a follow-up question too. Okay, Lisa, is it okay? Because I have to ask you, Lola, is there a Tamika in your life, like what LaTanya had on the show?
No, I'm actually the Tamika. So that's the thing. A lot of times, the characters, have bits and pieces of you, but I'm literally nothing like the LaTanya character. But sometimes you feel you're boring. Why would I write myself? You need to write someone else.
Wow. Okay. I'll tell you, I didn't see that coming. Lisa, you better go ahead with your question. I did not see you saying that, Lola. I really didn't. That's hilarious. Because Tamika is a mess.
Yeah, and that's the thing with readers. Sometimes they think the characters that you write are a reflection of you. And 9 times out of 10 with the characters in the screenplays and the books, they are nothing like me at all. So it's, people seem to think the decisions they made are your feelings or the morals that they possess are your morals. But that, in my case, that's just not the case. I want to write something different or other people.
Well, you guys, the listeners, definitely check it out. It is amazing. It's funny and hilarious, actually. I am so happy I am married.
I know. She was catching it. No joke. Those dates, I was like, whoa, okay. I saw why she was talking directly to the audience. I'll just say that. And that's just the, the narrative style of the movie, you guys. But the central character is actually talking directly to the audience throughout the movie.
And, honestly, it wasn't written that way. That's the way they filmed it. Okay. It was written as voiceover narration. But the issue when you write screenplays is when the producer and the director get it, the script, they literally do whatever they want. And that was another reason why I wanted to write the book, because there are a lot of scenes and dialogue missing from the actual screenplay, the movie.
Okay. Now, that leads me to my next question, which is on your website you list Jordan Peele as one of your favorite screenwriters. And if you could work with Jordan Peele, what would be the type of movie you would write?
It would be similar to the movies that he's already directed and produced. I would want something socially conscious, so it wouldn't be romantic at all, because I really enjoyed Get Out and Us. So I definitely would want undertones of racial injustice and things like that in the actual movie. So it would be completely different from what I normally do in the romance genre.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay. And I think that's wonderful, Lola, that you have expanded your craft to the point where you can write in so many subgenres. I know I find that challenging. So to see your body of work, that's impressive. So I'm going to go back to the books. Tell us how many books you've written and how many series you have.
Honestly, I'm not sure how many series I have, but I know I have at least 40 single-titled books because I also have a paranormal pen name. So if you put them all together, I have written over 40 books. But as far as series, I have multiple series, so I've never even thought about how many I have. One of my series has actually 7 books in it. So that's one of the reasons, you just keep writing until the story you have no more to write. So some have 2 books, some have 3 books, some have 7,
Okay. All right.
Now,
yeah.
You mentioned that you have a pen name for paranormal and you're into the zombies and vampires. What is your pen name and what kind of books do you write?
My other pen name is Crystal Lake, and under that pen name, I write vampire novels and zombie novels.
Okay.
And that was the one I started with in 2012. And basically, I just tried. I had never read a romance novel before, but someone said, hey, I'm not going to read that. If you write something else, I'll read it. So I said, well, let me try romance. And I wrote my first romance novel in 2013. It was called Let's Play Ball, and it was the first book in the Balls to the Wall series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you, like your vampires and zombies, is it a romance or is it strictly zombie movies?
There is some
books?
romantic, there are romantic elements in it, which is true for a lot of vampire novels. And with zombie books, there are romantic elements, but I wouldn't call them romance novels. The zombie is more of a survival, apocalyptic type series.
Wow. Okay. Lola, you've given me a lot to think about because so the post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic-like novels are such a divergence from romance, and then going from novel writing to screenplays. Share with us, not just the listeners, but your fellow authors as well. Where do you find the challenges in going between those different creative devices and outlets? Like the different genres. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is very challenging. I would say that because passion was for screenwriting. But with screenwriting, there is no return right away. You have to sell a script to someone, and then they make it into a movie. And so for a lot of people who are screenwriters, that ends up not happening. And that's how it was for me. I was doing it for years. I even had an agent, but nothing happened. So it was very discouraging. But then when I wrote my first romance novel and it took off, and I had never even read a romance, so it was like, the thought entered my mind that, you could be good at something that you didn't even know you were good at. So I continued to do that for years, and then the opportunity to write another screenplay and actually get it produced just kind of fell in my lap, and I had to go in that direction. But like now, it's very, very difficult to balance which one you want to do at what given time.
Okay.
I can see that.
How the opportunity fell into your lap, because that's an unusual happening. I mean, people work for years, like you said, and nothing happens. So how did that opportunity find you?
I went to interracial romance writers and readers conference in Daytona, Florida, and I met a producer who had produced at least probably a handful, maybe 7 films that were currently on Amazon. And so we got to talking, and because he